Yeah, probably. What about? I don't know. I don't know who that is. That ain't not her name. Name. That's somebody. That name sound. That name sound. Oh, it got zero. Oh, you said zero. And they ain't answer. You ought to ask her why you call me and what you want. Why she calling you? Mhm. Oh, WJ. And oh, that might be Unitime radio station. Over there. Mhm. Oh, okay. All right. Bye. How you doing? You doing all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Good to know. Where are you at tonight? You don't come no more. Because of them, after a while, the elevator, you fix up, I will be going.
Yeah, no, she's home with the fur kids.
Huh?
She's home with the fur kids.
Oh, okay. The elevator was climbing up the elevator.
Are you guys? We got time. We got a long. Here you go. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how y'all doing this evening, everybody? Y'all doing right too? How you doing?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, this is a t-shirt over there. Good to see you. Hey, man.
Hey, how you
How you
doing?
doing, sister?
I'm doing great, man.
It's good. So, are you gonna be here today?
I don't know.
I don't know, just the work session. I know you've been on, Tim, whatever.
Yeah.
I know you've been.
Hey, let me check back out. Here's my-
Well, I think you've been doing something. You're here, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what's that? I'm here.
Okay.
There's something on this too. Well, all you have to do is press that top button twice, and it will say, You know, so far there hasn't been a problem, but still, just in case, so you know, the top button twice.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right, thanks. Councilwoman, how are you?
I'm all right.
What's up, man? You doing all right? How you doing? Oh, I'm not going. Good. What do you want to have now, man? What do you want to come home? Probably, that's the guy that thing. No, next week.
Hey, dude.
How are y'all? How's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, my two partners. Here, what about? Howdy, it's an old doctor. That's no employee.
Where are we on?
Well, it's just a, we have to do all that, you know, it's just a follow, most of the stuff is a follow.
TV. Yeah, so.
Out of 10. Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. What other than outside of the car.
We gonna turn them on. Hit the switch over there.
Oh, yeah. I did my research. I went way back. Hey, go ahead.
Good to see you. Keep safe. I've got to respond to an email. And I got I'm talking to somebody. Yeah, I missed it. I told myself. Always good to see you.
You need your
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get started very shortly. Time is now 5:09 p.m. We'll start at 6 o'clock p.m. We ask that everyone please silence your devices or turn them off so we don't have any distractions or interruptions as we conduct the business of Selma, Alabama. And thank you for coming out this evening. We hope to have a very productive council work session. Time is now 6 o'clock p.m. and this work session of the Selma City Council is hereby called to order. At this time, let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to thee this afternoon giving you thanks for another day of life. God in heaven, we're so grateful that we have an opportunity to live and to live freely. And God in heaven, this evening we ask that you please guide us and direct us, direct our thoughts, direct our words, direct our actions. We pray to God that you guide us and help us to make the best decisions for this city. Heavenly Father, for we know that all of us are here this evening, but we know that you have the entire world in your hands. And we are grateful, dear God, for it. We're grateful for one another. We're grateful for this community. And we are so grateful for this wonderful nation which we live in. God in heaven, this evening we offer a special prayer for all the citizens of Selma, Alabama. We pray, dear God, for all of our city employees, all of those associated with municipal government. We pray, dear God, that you just help us, dear God. Lead us, dear God. Help this city to become what it's designed to be, a world-class place to live in. Now, God, we ask that all those petitions that are not said tonight, that you be with those, be with the sick, be with all those that are in need, dear God. We ask these other blessings in your precious Son, Jesus. Let each and every one of us say, amen.
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 Let's stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may be seated. All righty, at this time, we will conduct our roll call for the evening. Council President Young, present. Councilman Harville. Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Present.
Councilman Clay Carmichael.
Present.
Councilwoman Lisa James. Council Samuel Randolph. Councilman Agnes Jensen.
Here.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas.
Present.
And Councilman Michael Johnson. Council, thank you so much for responding to the roll call for this evening. We appreciate you. All right, now, the first items we have on our agenda for the evening are citizens' requests. We're going to remind all of our citizens that are on the agenda for the evening that you have 3 to 5 minutes to make your presentation. At the conclusion of your 5 minutes, I will say time, and that means you can stop. So let's be mindful as we do have an aggressive agenda for the evening. I think we have some 31 business items. So we'll be very, very cautious of our time, and we thank you for coming down tonight. Our first speaker for the evening, first citizen, is Mr. Martin Chance. And Mr. Chance is here to discuss storm drain costs. Mr. Martin Chance. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Martin Chance, Selma since 1949 in county. I live on Abbott Avenue. There's 2 sections combined between Fremont and Maple. I'm here to address the storm drain costs, particularly in the old town, but I'm sure it will. Several months ago, I was exposed to a city refused video, which I call the hopscotch street. Starting May 1st, I've seen a number of, I've seen on Facebook, and friends have moved off. They've been taking messages like, what the heck is going on? And I'll clean that language up. But anyway, I give us some thought to these drains. And I know it's been going on before y'all took over, Mayor Perkins took over, so it's nothing that just started last week. And I gave some thought to what we could do. And the drain, there's very, very few that still have the old metal or steel or iron lids. There's very few of them, especially in our area. You either see that, or you see ones that don't have a cover at all, or you see ones got a big concrete slab, or you see them now, the latest version is a wooden pad. It looks like somebody's making them for the city now rather than getting them from Marvin. And 3 out of 4 of them are should be an embarrassment to sell. Especially those who riding through and there's rain and they're open. Got a concrete slab, got a wooden pallet. You know. And then most of them are stopped up. There's one at the west end of on the sidewalk, Old Live Oak Cemetery. Old cone sitting in the middle of it. No cover. One night somebody's gonna walk in there and then that'll end the start when we come. I reached out to a company called Vodaland, Vodaland. They make a plastic cover, the same size as the metal cover. It's a 27-inch square. Part of that is a 3-inch frame, the same thing that we have. It's got a 24-inch center cover. Now, when I say plastic, this is tested up to 3,300 pounds. We should cover most of the people, so that, you know, find a way to drive over the slab. And the new covers cost $250 a piece. If you buy more than one, you get free shipping. You know, I don't think I need to go out and buy a whole truckload of them, but maybe get a couple of them and see how we can mount over the existing drain. And that's the part is the under drain, the motors will out. The brick are falling apart and then run over a half a dozen times. So somebody would have to fill the drain up low. And then you put this lid on it, you can mount it in the cement on the dirt. The inside lid, I call it the lid, comes with a key. It's got two locking pins like a safe. You put it in there, you lock it, somebody can't come by and just snatch it and take off with it. Then plastic, they can't take off to the scrap yard and sell them for 5 cents a pound. And I think the city, if y'all expect us as citizens to keep our grass cut, you know, everything neat, and the city needs to step their game up. And then the other thing, in our neighborhood, which is Broad Street over to maybe Union or Lapsley and Ward Avenue, Jail Chestnut Junior Boulevard, we just got hit with 25% property tax. So maybe y'all could keep some of that money back for it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chance. Thank you. Council members, we've heard from Mr. Chance. Is there anyone that would like to make any comments or any questions from Mr. Chance? Councilman Carmichael.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Chance. He's helping with several projects over in Ward 3 and going around and done some work for me during the day that I couldn't do. I appreciate that. I appreciate this. And I'll try to follow up and see if we can get some of these comments.
Like I said, if we just got a couple, so they can figure out how to mount them. Neat. You know, I'm just like riding down the road going to pallets out over the drain. That's so nice.
Will you make sure that Miss Allison has that link in her email so that she can share it with everybody?
Right.
And just that way everybody can see exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
So it's a good thing, seems easy.
And also, can you provide the name of that company that you talked about? And also, if you have contact information for that company, to Councilman Carmichael, since he's the Public Works Chairman, I think it'd be good to get that contact information, and then you can refer it to Mr. Hicks or whoever you need to. I think that would be a good start.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right. We'll now move on to our next citizen for the evening. This is Mr. J. Garrison Thompson, and he's here to discuss the rezoning 901, 903 Highland Avenue. Mr. J. Garrison Thompson.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen. Please thank you on behalf of St. Paul Church here in Selma. Over 2 blocks on Highland Avenue. 901 and 901. Currently rated as R50B district, and we want to rezone to district B2. You take a ride down Highland Avenue, which by the way is also US Highway 80, Alabama Highway 50. Just about everything in that area that is only classified in business. These 2 lots were given to the church under a will of Lewis Mars. Lewis Mars is working here in the city, so 3 days. They left in their will to the church. And the church would like to sell it. They have a sale pending for it. The sale is dependent upon it being rezoned to the B2 business. And it has been approved by the planning commission. Both sides of the newspaper that meeting. It's also been publicized, posted on district. I've not been on the next to it. To have the prospective purchase here. If you have any questions of them, they'll be glad to take questions. I'll try to answer questions. Yeah. We have a little handout for you. Explain their business, but okay. They're use.
All right, thank you. Council, we have before us information regarding potential rezoning of a property in 901 and 903 Allen Avenue. At this time, do you have any questions for our guests this evening? Do you have any questions? All right. This is the first I've had an opportunity to see this. There may be some additional questions after we've had a chance to review it. If we do, can you make sure you provide your contact information to our council secretary so that if we do need to call you all again to come, we will schedule that. And also we'll put you in contact, Mr. City Attorney. Can you also get in contact if you haven't already? I'm sure you
Not
have.
yet.
Okay.
I will.
So that we will know exactly what we need to do as far as getting this on an agenda for an up or down vote. So if we can get the attorney and have the attorney report to us and tell us exactly what we need to do, we'll try to act on this matter. So
I just might add, if I might, Mr. Chairman, this money that will be used, 50% of it is directly to go to the poor of Selma. And so half of the money that is received from this sale goes through the condition for the zoning will go into this trust for the poor of Selma. Other half will be used for church property.
that's good, something good to hear. All right, and so Mr. Attorney, if you can get with our speakers and make sure you all share the contact information so that the council has an opportunity to act on the proper document that we can vote on sooner rather than later. And also make sure Ms. Ellison has y'all's information as well, just in case there are some additional questions later. Council, are there any additional questions at this time? Councilwoman Jane Thomas.
I just want to ask a question. If there is something that I want to ask you about, call you answer the question.
Yes, ma'am, that's why our contact information is on there.
Okay.
It's on the last page of that document.
All right, thank you. I just,
If you'd like us to share 30 seconds about our business, we can as well.
I would like to. If you-
No,
Please.
Please, because I want to know what.
Yes, ma'am. Honorable Council, thank you for letting us be here tonight. As you guys know, basic economics is where a market is created and there's supply and there's demand. There's no secret here that we've been blessed by God to be the gateway to some of the greatest hunting land in the country. People travel from all over the world to come here, travel all over the world from Birmingham, Huntsville, and beyond. Our partners and I are invested in real estate in the land. One of our partners sells land for a large land brokerage here in the Black Belt region, and it's all based on recreational use. Our business is a direct-to-consumer agriculture vending machine. Basically, we are the ice machine, as you see going down to the beach, but for deer corn. You're like, why is there a market for this? How could this even be a thing? Well, if you try to go to get deer corn, which was a law was passed in 2019 that you could bait for deer hunting, which has become wildly successful, but it has raised the increased need for available recreational use of corn. You cannot easily get it in the city of Selma. You can try to go to the co-op. The co-op's hours are very limited. And for a person traveling from out of the market to come into Selma on a typical business hour day, they're closed by the time that traveler would come in and get corn. You could go to a local vendor such as Walmart or Martins that may have corn depending on their availability, but that's coming from ports, which we all know are backed up. That's coming from distribution trucks that can be delayed. This is a 24/7 availability to direct-to-consumer porn. So this opens up and increases the amount of recreational users coming in to Selma to spend money, to engage in economic activity, so that they can go out and then, use that porn on their property to increase deer hunting, for turkey hunting and other things of the sort, maybe even for their own farming uses. And then encourages them while they're here. They're probably going to pick up a meal, maybe sit down and go to some other stores because they're coming to town. They're probably going to pick up, as your wife says, hey, I'm going to go grab some groceries, and someone, your husband says, hey, I'll go grab some deer corn, and we'll meet back. And that is the overview of our business.
Okay, thank you so much.
Last question,
Yes, ma'am.
with the operation of it being in that location, what about I know, when you're dealing with that deer corn, plus cleaning up the area?
Yes,
Y'all will have.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a whole cleaning plan, and they've got 18 sites currently. It's a franchise model. And I've got pictures that I can provide of every site. The biggest issue is really just weeds. It's more, I would consider it to be like a self-storage kind of facility where, your biggest issue is it's got a gravel lot. There's some weeds that pop up, but we'll have a maintenance team that takes care of that. We'll have rodent boxes that will capture any rodents that might be around. And make sure that we have somebody hired from Selma to take care and steward that property on the day, like once a week or however much is needed, to make sure that we keep the city of Selma beautiful.
All right, you answered my questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, and we'll get with the attorney and make sure that we follow the law and it's what we can do.
Awesome.
All right, thank y'all so much for coming. All right. All right, I think that concludes all of our citizens' requests for the evening. Were there any other citizens on the agenda that we may have left off? Any other citizens? All right, I think that's everyone. Thank you. At this time, now we'll go to announcements to the council. Council members, are there any announcements that you would like to share with the public? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make this announcement to the entire city of Selma. Around this time of year, we always do our litter free Selma, keeping the litter off our streets and our community. I have to give a report every 3/4 of the year what we do in our city. And I would like to, I turn a report for our last cleanup where we picked up over 1,500 bags of litter out of our city. Because we have to turn that report in because they supply all of our cleanup. And I want people to know this month was the month that I was supposed to start. But next month, since we got so much on our schedule, we will start our kickoff between Dallas County and the city of Selma. Normally where our council members that in our area that would like to do clean up, group of church people would like to come into the city and clean up. And we do this because we are part of a big citywide, part of Alabama, all over from Mississippi to other cities. So be on the lookout. We're getting ready to kick off, and we invite anyone that want to be a part of cleaning up, keeping Selma litter free. Please contact me. We will supply you with the pickup kit. We will supply you with the bag, the vest, and also I will come out with you. And we want to get our city clean. So council member, if there's an area President Young, if your Apple guys would like to do something for the city of Selma or any organization, this is our time, and we will be, we do get to be in the magazine, and people get to see us, what we do in our city. Keep it coming.
Very good, very good. Thank you for that important announcement reminder. Are there any other announcements at this time? Any other announcements? Hearing none, let's act accordingly. And thank you, Councilwoman Thomas, for presenting that. All right, our next items on our agenda are our mayor's report. And as you know, each one of you should have received electronically a memorandum from our mayor regarding our mayor's report. And there are a total of 8 items on the report that are presented for us. I spoke with our council secretary, and we felt the best way to handle our mayor's report is that at work session, we'll have the report, and what we'll do is that at our council meeting on Tuesday, we will take any questions that any council member has about any of the items at our Tuesday council meeting in the presence of our clerk, because our clerk takes the official record, that's the official minutes of our meeting. We'll have the clerk to take your questions and place them in the minutes, because that's the official record of our meeting. And following that meeting, the clerk will be asked to present that to the mayor. Whatever questions we have about items that we do not vote on. As we have in the past, we will continue to present a consent agenda. And those items that I don't hear from you all about will be placed on the consent agenda. And then we will call for the report. We'll call for any of those items that any of you all want to vote on at that time that are not on the consent agenda. And for those items that you have questions about, as I stated, you will be allowed to present your question on the record in the presence of the clerk, and the clerk will then present that to the mayor. That is what I discussed with our administrative assistant, as she has to do a lot of the work that we have. So that would be best for this body, and that is how I believe it would be best for us to proceed with the items. Any questions about that? Everybody understand? Any questions? All right, thank you, council, for that. So we do have those 8 items on the agenda for this evening. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to read over those items, and hopefully on Tuesday, if you have questions, you can present them. If not, we hope to be able to vote up or down the items that have been placed in the mayor's report for recommendation. All right? If there are no other discussion or no other comments regarding these 8 items, we'll move on to the business items for the council, if there's no further discussion. All right, thank you, council. Now, we'll go next to the business items before the council. At this time, there are a total of 31 business items. And before we get started with those business items, I have another suggestion on handling the business items. We know that many of these items will require responses from department heads, which are not in attendance at our meetings. So therefore, same procedure. You may present your work item, you can talk about it if you want to talk about it, but you may not be able to get the answers that you need. So at Tuesday's meeting, same procedure. State your business item and state whatever questions you have for the specific department head. And that too will be entered into the official minutes by our clerk. And that too will be presented to the mayor and to the department heads so that they may answer those questions. We're trying to prevent any redundancy. So if you have some items that you have questions about tonight, I certainly won't be able to answer. And I don't think some of us here will be able to answer. So let's just proceed in that manner if there are no objections to that. So tonight, feel free, you have information to discuss, but if you have questions that you know we can't ask, be prepared to present those questions on Tuesday in front of the clerk. Any questions? All right, with that, let's go ahead and proceed with our business items. And like I said, if you want to talk about it, feel free. And Councilwoman Thomas, I think you, Councilwoman Jane Thomas, I think you have the first 10 business items. So
Well, most
have
of
it.
mine, I like to say to the citizens of Selma, most of mine are follow-up from the last council meeting. That it wasn't anyone here present. These are work orders. And like you said, I would like the citizen of Selma, especially in District 7, to know that I continue to follow up with your complaint and what needs to be done in Ward 7. And I will continue to put the work order in until this has been taken care of. And so you'll know that I did address it tonight. And this will be at the council meeting, I will address that. And like you said, the secretary will put it in so we can get some information on it. Because the citizens deserve to, they keep calling me, but nothing is getting done. So I just want them to know everything on this list will come out Tuesday night for a follow-up to hear from somebody at those departments.
Okay, so for each one of those items you have a question about, just read out the question on Tuesday and we'll give it to the clerk and the clerk will give it to the.
But I got one since I'm attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney Madison, back here a month ago, I think it was a month, maybe 6 weeks now, that I asked you to follow up on a city easement on the property of Mr. Kurt Carrington, who was interested in buying that property because it's not big, but right now it is overgrown. And on his property, it's coming all over his property. He sent me a picture. And I did put a work order in for the city. He has been keeping this property up over 30 years. And when he came before us, he was interested in giving us a portion. And he's been coming on through his property, going back to the back. And I asked you to have someone to set up to go out so we can get this taken care of. So will you please follow up with me?
Did you say Carrington?
Yes.
Carrington? Carrington?
Yes, that's correct.
And did you have an address?
I have a question, trustee, from that meeting, because Mr. Carrington came here and he spoke with the council and also the attorney. So have you not started this process already?
I've been to one or two citizens' homes to see about things. I'm just not sure what the address is. I just need the address.
Oh, 1316 Woodrow.
Woodrow?
Yes. And can you please, I put a work order in.
And I do recall that name. I just didn't remember the address.
Okay, so the question is, have you started the process?
I've started the process on several home visits. I can't tell you until I go back and check. I've got several visits that I've made already. And you said it was overgrown.
Yeah, it's a section coming from this city drain that has been coming across his property line, going back into his area. And it's an overgrowth, it's a lot of stuff, but he sent me a picture, I think you see it. And he has been taking care of this himself for 30 years. And I think it's about right, we were citizens has been taking care of the city property for 30 years.
And it might seem odd, Councilwoman Thomas, that I don't necessarily recall it offhand, but I was last week at a property with overgrowth over a drainage, but it wasn't this one, so I just want to check the address, that's all I'm saying.
So can you, he called me and he sent me, they are good citizens.
I'll be glad to do that. I'll be glad to do that.
Could you make sure that we get somebody out there, because it's overgrown, it needs to be taken care of immediately.
The property I was at last week, I was there with the public works director, because I'm not going to do the work, so I needed somebody to go who could assess the work, see what they thought needed to be done. Then I'd be happy to have them report back.
It's not to put overgrown grade.
I know she said it was about an easement. I know that. I wrote down that information. But what I was telling you is I've done something very similar to this within the last few days. And that's why I can't off the top of my head say, yes, I did go to this particular property. But I will get that answer to you no later than Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
no later than Tuesday.
And thank you. And, I ain't got, I'm doing. That's everything that's on my track, so it'll be on the track. Oh, yes, I do. I want. Oh, yeah, I want. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, tax collection. When you play around with, talk about your purchase order. Like, oh, yeah, witness fee. So this is 6 months, you'll pay it out last. Okay, the body of council, I need to talk about. Everybody got that information on this. Okay, I want to let the citizens know, the city of Selma know. This is a location that's in Ward 7 on 110. By the railroad track. Well, this is a small area in Ward 7 that was a park named after Rutledge. And these are the Rotary Club gave dope about this equipment for to go into the park. And I have he was highly recommended by the president, the vice president of the president of the Rotary Club, that this would be the one the person can get this done exactly like I wanted in the area for some of the babies in our neighborhood to play. And I have the invoice, there's gonna be a purchase. An invoice for the amount of, yes, put the assessment together and maybe like a play area. All the council see what all of us have to do. And he's asking for upfront 1,500, and this is coming out of my board, this playground. It costs, the work to be done is $3,820.25, and this is well overdone for Ward 7 for some of our babies. And I hope the numbers, this will be put to vote Tuesday.
Councilwoman Thomas, I heard exactly what you said. If you give me the exact verbiage, where you said you want to give them a upfront payment.
Yes, he's requesting for 1,500 start.
Okay.
Yes.
If you give me the exact verbiage, the 1,500 and the total cost, I'll get that on the consent agenda.
Okay, so I will, which one may give it,
If you give it to Ms. Ellison,
I mean,
we'll get the exact word, because I want to make sure I pass it.
that's what he said, and it's a time frame on this part of, the road club being involved with this equipment, and they've been very patient with me, and I appreciate it, because it's definitely needed in the area, in Ward 7, we need something for our babies in that area.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. I think that concludes your items, correct?
Yes, the rest of it will come on the.
With your questions that you have.
Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am. All right, so now we move on to the next 9 items. Councilman Carmine.
Yes. So the traffic signal restoration resolution was tabled last meeting, once tabled on here, we're discussing, so let's follow up that Tuesday. The E3 contract, the terms have expired, and I noticed that we were still paying. So I think we need to probably stop payment there or terminate the contract. I'm not sure why payment's still going out.
I'm not sure why either, but I can tell you this, you're putting it on the agenda the last time spurred me to go back and figure out what was going on to the extent I could. And you're right, it has expired. And a new contract was presented by the vendor to submit to the council.
Okay. All right, and well, were we fined by ACOM recently?
Not that I'm aware of,
Not that you're aware of?
not fine, no.
I mean, if we are, will that come to us and assuming that it's more than 5,000, it should come to us?
I don't know of any fine, but I do know that the best way to find out is to get with the interim director of the landfill, Mr. Mr. Hicks, so I would ask that question be directed to the mayor so that he could get with the proper, department head. I think that's Mr. Hicks. And get you an answer.
I'll just call it. The Girl Scout hut over in Levi, I noticed was torn down. And I also noticed the last asset list was an asset, so before we demolish that, we should have surplus it. And I'm just curious what's happening with that, so I'll follow up with that too, but I mean, go back and do the proper procedure to surplus that asset. And declare it used for public use. City attorney, are you acting as prosecutor in the city court?
Since January,
Since January, okay, and just because we don't have a prosecutor in place.
basically, yes.
So that was one question that I had. Cameras, we've got, we need to get an attorney on that. I have somebody that I'm talking to in the morning about that, and I'll bring that to the table on Tuesday. And moving forward, I think that we should engage other attorneys for some questions that we have, because I don't feel like we're getting fair and balanced legal advice. And so I'm going to bring some of that info to the table either Tuesday or the next work session. I just want to make sure we've discussed this several times in public meetings. Education and training questions for our treasurer. I've asked these questions before. I just want to know what type of education and training we're following through on. There are some requirements within our job descriptions that require specific training, the CGAP specifically, government accounting, something or another. And they offer that. I mean, it's a year-long class, so I'm not sure if you started that, but I think it'd be wise to get that started. And just want to kind of find out what she is there. Public hearings. I believe we have a process in place for public hearings, and Mayor Perkins mentioned the other night that was a council authority, but I've been told by the clerk that it is an attorney's. The attorney actually leads public hearings. Is that right? According to the local process.
Unless that's in an ordinance, I'm not sure that's correct.
Okay.
And I will check that.
All right, we can get some follow up on that. There is a liquor license request at Big Star Grocery on the corner of King and Dallas that we never followed up on. And there were some neighbors that had concerns about it. According to an old city attorney friend of mine, we should probably have a public hearing on that, to be sure that we have a whole record of why we would vote against it if we do. I'm not saying that we're going to vote against it, but I do think we need to have the Big Star, possibly the property owner, and all neighbors, concerned neighbors present, and hear from all of them. So whenever we get that procedure out to everybody, so everybody understands it, maybe we can follow through that public hearing. Municipal government, I wanted to bring that to the table because the mayor did mention shrinking the council size to 5. I don't disagree with him there. I think in order to move forward with that, to move to a council manager form of government, and there is a statute, I think it's 11-43A, if I'm not mistaken, that outlines how we do that. And I'd like to get specifics on how we move forward with that. I think we're supposed to take a vote 5-6 months before the next election. And then we follow through with the election at that time, the citizens vote on it. And then the following election, I think is when changes the type of government.
I've seen the process recently, but rather than paraphrase it, I'll bring you a written
Okay,
version of it.
okay.
I like to speak on that too. I did some following up on that too. It was told to me that I called the office where you would do that, and it was told to me that the legislative branch is the one to make that decision if we want to downsize. What we would have to do is, we would have to set up a fund at the Secretary of State with the census to go back from 2002, 2010, compare what we lost in 2010, and then we will have to look at, I'm gonna say 2010, and go from 2020 census, which we already know that the population is down to 15,000. And they were 15,000, I think 300. We were at, in 2010, we were at 17,000. So I looked at, it's a diagram, they told me what side to go, but they say that the legislative branch is the one that have to come and look at it. What's the difference in our percentage wise? For the council, if we want to go that up, it make a big difference in that size of the city, which our capacity right now is 50,000.
As I was saying, I was,
So that is separate.
yeah,
You know, there's two concerns here. One is redistricting, which goes with the census, which you cannot change the size. You can't change the number of districts with redistricting. You just redraw lines to make all districts even.
Yeah, and you have to look at
In order for that to take place, the districts have to change by total population divided by the number of districts, and then 10%.
it's based on a standard deviation from the mean of 10%, more or less.
If we have to move forward.
But that's why I was saying, rather than paraphrase it, because there are about 5 different facets to it. But rather than paraphrase it, I wanted to bring the text in, show it to you, and tell you what I think it means legally for the city of Selma.
And I just wanted to clarify, those are 2 different things. One, redistricting.
I agree.
Census.
I agree.
I know, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the public. You know, one is with the census, districts stay the same, the lines are redrawn. One is changing the form of government, which can't happen for another couple of years, and the council has to vote on that to move forward with it. The redistricting lines, the citizens don't vote on, we own them.
I know,
Yeah.
but I was just saying, it centers around the same issue, because they got a class coming up, and I would like to, next month, I want to go that training to find out exactly with this situation that we're coming up with. I saw that class, and I would like to go to
SRA. So the appointment that I made, that I recommended last time has fallen off the summary development authority. So I was going to make another recommendation to the council on Tuesday. If it's the pleasure of the council, then we'll move forward. That's all right. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, let's move on now to our next 2 items. Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Okay. I know you all remember the mayor presented this resolution number R-174-21/22, and this again waiver of fee for events in the city of Selma. I have brought this to the council several months ago from my administrative committee. I think it's a great idea if we just not waive any fee, so that anybody that comes before the council, it won't look like we're showing favoritism towards one party, not the other. So I think that we should not waive any fees at all. You all can kind of chime in if you think otherwise.
Can I ask you a question? You know, I asked you to look at that, you select the reason about what, some things that serves the purpose of our city, that gives a lot back to the city of Selma. So I'd like to be careful with that before I make that decision, because we have is in our selected reading on certain things. And I don't want us to find ourselves where we completely cut off from, especially when some, something that has really been serving the purpose of the city that has been given back a lot.
Okay, I understand that, and, just doing a little research, I don't see any other cities that waive fees.
But I just want to stick with, I
I
understand what you
yeah,
said, but that was my thing.
I don't see any other city waiving fees, and you're not talking about like a huge fee. I think an organization can afford to pay the fees that we're required for them to pay. Even a nonprofit organization, because they're also getting a lot of grant money, a lot of donations, and to ask the city to waive a $50 or $100 fee, I feel like that organization can pay that fee.
What I was saying is like we have, like the fair comes here to our city. What's the name of it? The Lions Club? The Lions Club. Like, for many years, you know, the fee has been waived for them. So when we say we put this to the floor to a vote, we will be able to have to send out to all of the sponsors of these that have been coming into the city, that we have been waiving fee, let them know that the fee that they actually have to pay, they will have to pay, or they will have to pay their part.
I mean,
I'm just asking, you know, that's,
however the process is, that's my recommendation.
okay.
Council Carmichael.
I believe the resolution did not clarify just events, did it? Or did it? I can't.
It does say, in time to be billed, and can't do not frequently afford adequate due diligence in deliberating. Am I reading right? Yeah.
Okay, so it's specific for, only for events. So, I mean, the reason I'm asking, and I'm fine with that, with events. The reason I'm asking is like, if somebody, you know, say the Marcus Snow is cleaning up garbage or trash piles or something for us, and just go to the landfill or something. I mean, is that
And specifically, I'm talking about it.
specifically events? Okay, all right, just wanted to be clear on that. Like,
My next item is number 21, my favorite number. The personnel board appointment. I also brought this before the council several months ago. There are 2 slots on the personnel board, that has expired. We have recommended, to the council from the administrative committee, to do a little short process. And that process was, to allow people to submit their resume, to the personnel board and myself, the personnel department, and myself, and from the mayor's office, we denied that. So what I'm gonna do, is make 2 recommendations on Tuesday as to who we should put on this board because of those 2 spots. Now you have a question you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where you coming from. Because what you're saying, what you're talking about, that's been a while. Vacant.
It has been that long.
Okay. So have you talked to about the two recommendations?
But how to do,
I'm saying,
I'm bringing it to the council.
oh, you bring it to,
Mhm,
and
that's
you're
what I-
asking for a vote for those two
That's
recommendations
correct.
Tuesday.
Yes,
Oh,
we
okay.
need to fill those slots.
Okay, I just want to know, you know. Right, I'm just asking because when you say you bring it to us Tuesday, for a vote on those two people, two recommendations.
That's correct.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas, for your items. All right, Councilman Harville is not with us, so we will, he'll be given an opportunity on Tuesday to present his items. Go ahead, Councilman.
I just want to know, because it was something that I asked for in the last meeting, that A plan, fire department. And we didn't get that in the mayor's report, did we?
Not to
Okay,
my knowledge.
fine. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. We're asking for documents, materials, so that we can increase pay for the fire department. This is something that they're saying that has been said that we have not done, we've not wanted to do. And here we are, we're trying to do it, and we're not getting the information that we need so that we can follow through on getting the fire department some pay increases. I just want to make that statement.
Okay. All right, so we'll have those items for Councilman Harville on Tuesday. And we'll have Councilwoman Lisa James give her that same due that she may bring up her item on Tuesday as well. All right, so the next items are for yours truly. First, job posting for city prosecutor. As you all know, we did a process for the municipal judge spot and also for the indigent defense attorney. We did those through the HR department, and then we took those applications and took them through the public safety committee, and we interviewed them. We also know we have a prosecutor spot that's available. We are now made aware that our city attorney has filled in that position, but we know that we still need 2 city prosecutor spots taken care of in municipal court. So what I will bring before the council on Tuesday, since we did the process with judge and we did the process with indigent defense attorney, we should follow that same process, so we won't be doing anything different. So I'll prepare language for us to vote on Tuesday to make the posting, to request that the Human Resources Department makes the posting for a period of 30 days, as we did with the previous. And then once we receive those applications, then we take them through the Public Safety Committee and then bring recommendations to the council. I didn't want to do anything too far off different for this because we just did one appointment. So I want to have some continuity and make sure that we are doing the same thing for each. So it wouldn't look different. So that's going to be my recommendation.
President Young,
Yes, sir.
if you finish that specific item, city prosecutor, I want to make a point before you. Well, actually 2 points. Number one, the last city prosecutor position came about as because of a combination of the monies to pay 2 prosecutors, wherein one offered to do the work of both, and instead of having just 2 court appearances a month, agreed to do 4 court appearances a month. So you went at one point the city went from 2 prosecutors to 1, but the 1 prosecutor filling out the schedule for the whole month for prosecutions asked for the pay for both positions, which made sense if he was going to be there for both.
Right.
And he was for a while till he wasn't, till he left. we even, I think, at one point had, and I'm not sure how far back, 2 public defenders, but there was only 1 public defender the last term. And when they both left, they left those slots having been the only prosecutor and the only public defender in them. So they will make, the prosecutor was making $1,000 a month. It wasn't 500, it was $1,000 a month. If you have 2, you're talking about taking it back down to 500 a month, which, as far as I can tell, no attorney is going to be eager to do. I did it for about 6 years altogether. And I would not encourage or expect any other attorney to do it for that long or for that amount. So I just wanted to make sure you kept that in mind. You also asked if I would check to see if there was any statute or ordinance which specifically stated who has the appointment authority for the city prosecutor. I've looked and I see no statute or ordinance. You have one, you have the statutory authority for the appointment of the judges, which you've already done. Well, 1 you've already done, and you have the ordinance authority to appoint the indigent, the public defender, was what we usually call indigent defense counsel, public defender, same thing. I don't see any written statute or ordinance validating who, supporting whether the council or the mayor makes that appointment. The mayor feels he does, you feel you do. So I'm going to say this and let you decide how to handle that. The ordinance is clear on public defender, the statute is clear on the judges, but I don't see any language either in statute or ordinance on the city prosecutor. The council has appointed before, the mayor has appointed before. I was appointed by the mayor to be city prosecutor. And I'm just saying, without any clarity on that, I have to tell you what I don't see. I don't see any statutory language or ordinance either way.
Thank you. And that was what we talked about at a previous meeting. I said that we didn't get any authority or get any information on who had the authority, and we were going to go ahead and proceed because we weren't given anything different. Hearing what you just said gives me pause. And so at this time, based off of that information, I'm going to withdraw my statement in regard to bringing this up on Tuesday. Because I believe something else needs to take place first before this council goes and does a job posting. So council, I respectfully withdraw that hearing from what just came from the attorney, because we'll need to proceed. But in the meantime, I understand that we have critical needs in the municipal court.
And you heard that from someone who's anxious not to be in city court prosecuting, is what I'm trying to say. So that's about as fair and balanced as I can get.
And so I do understand that you've been offering.
Since January. Since
And
January.
we appreciate that. And we're going to have to proceed with something sooner rather than later. Because I think with the fresh blood that's coming in, along with who's there now, I think the ball is going to move down the field a lot faster. But we got to make sure that we provide assistance to the magistrates and to the other personnel over there, in addition to the judges. And
I was in court this morning, and what I saw, I want to share to this extent with you. It's unfair to, it's fair to expect someone who accepts the job to do the job. It's unfair to expect them to handle a pretty large caseload and not be as competitively compensated as possible. As I said, I started in 2010 as prosecutor, did that for 2 years, left and came back 4 years later and went back to prosecuting for another 2 or 3 years, all for $500 a month. A lot of attorneys thought I was crazy. One of my partners at that, well, one of the partners in the firm at the time told me not to do it because it wasn't enough money. But I was advised to consider it anyway, and I did. So it's a matter of someone having to pay their bills at the same time. You want them to do a good job for the city of Selma.
Well, I see you, Councilman Thompson. I'm going to acknowledge you shortly. What I believe we need to do, and we've got a couple of resolutions coming up after this item, where you are bringing on a new judge and you're bringing on an independent defense counsel. And without getting in that branch of government, because that is a separate co-equal branch of government. So we don't get in their business, but we do offer assistance when they come to us. So I believe once those positions and those individuals take effect, and we're going to talk about that under the next couple of items. I believe once you have all of those parties together, both your judges, your indigent defense counsel, and you in your assisting capacity, you all can get together as the judicial branch and come to this council with recommendations on the assistance that this body can offer. Now, we do know that we are about to begin the budget process in the next few months. So we are aware, all of us are aware of that. So we want to keep that in mind, but there are going to be some financial decisions that need to be made prior to the budget talks. And so I believe that once we have all of the judges there and those individuals that have been slated to be appointed in those spots, that the judicial branch can come before the council with a recommendation, and the council can discuss what it can do before budget talks. And then once we do budget talks, take that into the entire budget on what we're going to do. Because I understand, I've been told Chief Magistrate is no longer in position. And so now you have less people doing more work, and that's a problem. And so we need to make sure. And then I'm certain that this court is probably going to want to do some virtual things, and that's going to take some financing as well. So this body is going to have to come up with something before budget talks. And so I'm hoping that after these dates, once these people get in position, that the judicial branch will come back to us. Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
You are attorney in our selected reading. I told you to go to page 30 in our selected reading. And it designates us on decisions that we appoint decisions dealing with our judges, prosecutors. The last 4 years that I sat up here, based on what the selected reading we had, we did a never put in ordinance in place. We put in place what never at that time. And you are our attorney, and I'll ask you before to look at that in the selected reading on page 30. And I was expecting you to come back and give us a better clarification of the language on there. You haven't done it. There's space in there that for you to think that in positions like that, we should be able to do support. And that's why I asked you. And I wanted him to clarify is how we, as a city attorney, come back to the body. You say you didn't see anything we do now.
No, what I said is, Councilwoman, I read page 30. As a matter of fact, that wasn't the first time I've read page 30. I've read it 2 or 3 times. What I said was, state statute controls what all of us can do, not the ordinance. But where there is a vacuum, where no state statute exists, the council can and has passed an ordinance when it comes to the public defender or indigent defense counsel. I don't see an ordinance anywhere about the prosecutor's position.
No,
that's what I said.
Prosecutor, you know what it has? It has, if you go back and read, it says that any other designated position, the council has that authority. If you read that, if you go back and read that, and you are an attorney, and I don't have to call the lead to ask them that. I have to deal with this before, and I was expecting you to come back to council and
Okay.
tell us, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma'am. Okay, so now to belabor the point, all of us are going to look into it, again. That's why I withdrew my previous statement about go ahead and do the posting. We need to look into that, again, and see what we can do. Go ahead, Councilman Carmine.
Can we just draw an ordinance? Giving us the point.
That was what I was, when I said I'm gonna look back into it.
Okay.
I was gonna look back. You're good, you're good. We're reading minds, so that's it. And so there may be some, and you kind of say where I was going with the Council Carmichael. Where there is ambiguity, this council has to create something concrete. And so my mind was set up then, perhaps we should do an ordinance, identifying the appointment authority of the city prosecutor and get that in writing, get that passed, and then we could talk. But again, we're gonna study it further, see, we have to go that route. But that's where my mind was going with that.
And I understand everything you just said. I want Councilwoman Thomas to understand what I said. I said, I'm gonna tell you, just a minute, please. I said, I'm gonna tell you what I found, then you can decide what to do. That's what I said.
Okay, all right, well, we're gonna move on to our next items. Now, the next items, for you, council, and they will be emailed to you, but they are standard appointment resolutions. The first appointment resolution will be R 213-21/22 to appoint municipal judge Donald McGuire. And we'll get that to you, electronically, but it's the standard, appointment resolution. She may have sent it to you all.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we'll vote on that on Tuesday. It specifies that Attorney McGuire, is hereby appointed, as we did the last meeting, municipal judge, with this term beginning the first day of July 2022. He will serve for a term of 2 years. That is per statute. When you have full-time judges, municipal judges serve 4 years, part-time municipal judges serve 2. That's Code of Alabama. And so that's section 12-14-30. And so we'll vote on that, officially, for Tuesday, as we've already voted to appoint Judge McGuire. That'll just be for the resolution. Great, Councilman.
Can I ask a question? Attorney, and then Judge Wood, are you the designated, judge over here? Yeah.
Am I the designated judge?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you know, the presiding, you're the presiding judge now?
From my understanding, I was appointed presiding judge, or designated presiding judge, yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I ask you this? The reason why I asked you, isn't this is the coming up in July or when?
Is it my
2 years?
2 years has already expired, so I would hope that the council will go ahead and
Yeah.
appoint me for another 2 years so that I can go forward making the municipal judicial system better.
Okay.
Without worrying about being reappointed.
And this is why I asked you, because I knew it was close. And you got paid me that you didn't get it, was fine.
Yes, ma'am, it has, and I'm eager to be reappointed.
Okay. I just wanted to ask.
All right, so what's before us now is that resolution, R 213-21/22. The other resolution before us is resolution R 214-21/22. And that is to appoint, defense counsel. And I'm trying to pull that one up now. Yeah, so with that one, that's their standard appointment resolution. And this is to appoint Thomas Atchison Jr. is hereby appointed by the city council to serve as the defense attorney for the city of Selma, Alabama, beginning the first day of July 2022, and serve for a term of 2 years and or until the successor has been appointed. again, standard language, and I'm glad that information has already been provided. So we'll vote on ratification of those two resolutions on Tuesday. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So. You know me. So, if Judge Ruth time is up, how would we do that? We can go back.
I believe the best practice is to, in all fairness to everybody that applied, is we made the process up. When we voted on the municipal judge, we voted to be that the process when we select municipal judge. So we'll have to, unless we change that process, we'll have to actually do the posting and get the number of people that interview for public safety and bring it back to the council. Remember, we voted on process for the selection of municipal judges earlier in this term. You may go ahead. Certainly. In all transparency, you know, we have,
Okay,
is there something you need to discuss?
yes, sir.
Okay, well, you can go, if it's something the public needs to be made aware of or something.
Yeah, anybody.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, all right. So we'll proceed with those resolutions that we just talked about. And then now we'll move up to the next item, the update on business items, city debt, April the 7th, 2022. We talked about the city debt from the work session agenda. The treasurer has provided me with some information already regarding our city debt. I plan on making that available, what she's given me. If she said that she still had to get some more information so that we can find out about all of that. But she has provided me with some information already about the debt that we owe. And that's all bonds and everything else that we have out there, our outstanding debt. So you'll receive that from me in the next couple of days, what I have. The reason I've been holding it, I didn't want to confuse council because it's incomplete. And so I preference it, once you receive it, understand that it's incomplete, that it does not have everything. And so hopefully we'll get the rest of the information sooner rather than later. And then for the last items, we have the water board appointment. And I'll just flat out start here. Currently have 4 individuals serving on the water board. The water board is a board that consists of 5 individuals. All 4 individuals that currently serve on the board are in their terms. We have 1, and all 4 have served graciously, and we thank them. But we have 1 slot that needs to be filled with an individual in that capacity. So I will prepare a resolution, and I am going to recommend on Tuesday that we appoint Councilwoman Christy Thomas to serve on the water board. And the reason I'm making that recommendation, and I'm strongly making that recommendation to this body, is she has knowledge of water systems and water works. And I am the kind of person that believes in putting people in positions that have the skill, that have the knowledge, have the competence. And Councilwoman Thomas, Christy Thomas, in my thoughts, is well suited to serve in that position. It's very rare that you have a position open on one of these boards where you have a council person that does this type of work. And we checked to make sure that there are no ethics violations I have been informed by an attorney that there would not be any ethics problems with that, as the waterworks that she's employed with is not a competitor. And so based off of that, there is no ethics issues, no legal issues. So after doing that research, I felt that it's my responsibility to come before the council with good recommendations. And I do feel wholeheartedly that the recommendation of Councilwoman Christie Thomas on the water board is due and is fine. And so on Tuesday, I will present that before the body. And I hopefully the council will get that an affirmative vote, but the council will have an opportunity to vote that recommendation up or down. Go ahead, Councilwoman James Thomas.
For quite some time. Kind of a little confused on the issue. I'm seeing your recommendation. What position are you placing on the name? What position?
Her name escapes me, but there is Billy, is it this big?
Billy Big?
Yes, I think that's, she's no longer able to serve.
So the really big position in the time frame of giving the big time, have you looked at that?
I was going to get from the attorney, and I've also spoken to the board's attorney to get the time frame of her appointment.
Well, because I think this really big time as being up. I have a chart of everybody on there. And at the time when Billy Big took sick, time that I was up here, it already served a couple of people. And this is why I want you to make sure that, you know.
Excellent, and what I'll do, I'll get with you to get that time period for her term, since it's already up, that this is a fresh term. So she'll.
Billy Big, bit on there, we got a chart
Yes, ma'am.
that they gave us. You know, I'm quite sure we have some more people that will be coming on, but I want us to be fair and do this the right way.
Correct. And that's exactly what we will do, transparent and fair. So I'll get with you, Councilwoman Thomas, and get that information.
Yeah.
And I'll put that in the resolution that I present on up or down vote for the council. All right. Go ahead, Councilman Brown.
I believe it's a 7-person board, isn't it? And when we have 3 open positions,
I've always known it to just be 5. I hadn't known anything about 7.
are you sure?
So I haven't known, I mean, but I'm a young guy, so.
One more question. My question is to you is why do you feel that this is no offense against you, okay? Because I believe you're doing this right. Would you feel that that Christie Thomas would come back and give us more updated? Because we never had any. See, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a straight up person. I don't sugarcoat nothing. And but we never had any report from nobody on the council according to the procedures of things the way the water board, we change it. And I feel that the citizen needs to be here a little bit more so we can know if the bill going up or something going wrong. And I have nothing wrong with that, but I just like to brainstorm if I answer that.
Councilwoman Thomas, that is exactly one of the reasons.
Yeah, and that's why I have that right to brainstorm.
I think you're exactly right. We're on the same page with this. That is exactly one of the reasons that I felt compelled to bring up Councilwoman Christie Thomas's name. Because as a city member of this council and with her expertise in this area, I believe that she will be able to provide a report not only to this council, but to the citizens, as you stated. And that's needed. And so that's one of the many reasons that I strongly support the recommendation.
And the easy Judge. The last time when I was up here, I don't know, I want to make sure that, because when I first came on, they said that, and I was, this went up, Attorney Dunn. I thought they said that, I just like it. I thought they said that if the therapist to pick
Presiding judge.
the presiding judge.
That is actually in the statute.
Okay,
That's in the code of Alabama.
okay,
Yes.
so let me get me right now. I want to people like to keep things right. So we did our first interview for third judge. So with his term being up, and are we going to go back to the same process to?
As a council person, you can make a recommendation of your choice. All I said was, when we voted earlier, we voted on a process to select our municipal judge. We voted that it be posted. And then we voted that after it's posted for 30 days, that we take those resumes, and they go to the public safety committee. And then we recommend 3 names to the council. That's the process that this council adopted. You voted on it.
Okay,
You voted.
so we're gonna go, okay, we're not gonna, let me, I like doing things right. Stuff eat me up, and it's kind of eat me up now. So we're gonna go back to our same process with the new town, what we voted on to do. Instead of doing what that's what I'm doing.
I'm not following.
Instead of doing according to the, you know what?
Let me say this. We have that process in place. But you or any council member has the right to do something different. If a council member wants to make a motion that we don't do that process, if it gets a majority vote, we don't do that process anymore. We have a process in place. But any council member, including you can say, you can make a motion that we no longer follow that process and just go straight and do a reappointment. If you choose to do that, you do have that. If I'm following you correctly, I think that may be where you're going. But if any council member can decide to do it, but we do have a process.
I just want to do things right, and the reason why, I didn't know if when we changed our, process, that we were going to vote up. I thought we were going to do the one.
We did.
The one that required, that's what. So,
They're both of them are required of us, but once they're in place, the mayor picks which one is presiding.
okay,
He doesn't-
so now, okay, so now we're gonna go back, or we're gonna do process over for this tax, since it's time.
That's what's currently set up.
Okay,
But now, like I said, if you want to make a motion that we don't do that process anymore, and that we just pick Judge Wood or any other person you want to pick, you can make that motion, and if the second, it goes through. So
Okay.
that's up to this council to decide what you want.
I got you,
There are no dictators up here.
okay,
Okay.
I got you.
Every council member has that prerogative. If it gets a second, and I'll call the vote, and we can vote on it. But we just have a process in place now. But that can be changed. I reiterate that. Councilwoman Thomas, if you feel like you need to make that motion, you make that motion. If you get seconded, it goes through. Okay? All right. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody else? Anyone else? All right. I think that takes care of the items about water board. Now, committee reports. Are there any committees that need to report at this time? Any committees that would like to report? Yes, ma'am.
I won't go back.
Okay.
I'm serious, y'all. I just, my heart, I have to do it. Councilwoman, can I hear you? Please.
If you have an attorney position, the last council y'all interviewed, the judges and the council appointed them to this position.
Okay.
So it's still in the council's hand.
Okay,
Yeah, y'all appointed.
okay, well, I won't go with that, I'm going, go ahead. I'm just trying to be right, y'all just don't understand, when the Lord puts something on you, got to. And I just, okay,
I will give you adequate opportunity
okay.
to ask. Do you have any other questions?
Okay, so when we do that, so now we will only have one judge in place, two weeks.
No,
Yeah.
Judge Wooten is still serving
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
So we have
Oh,
two
yeah,
judges.
okay,
We'll have two judges as of July 1st, 2022, if we vote on that resolution.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add what I hope is a modicum of support for what you're trying to get done here. The judge serves until his term or until another judge is appointed.
Correct.
all right.
That's per statute.
As when the term expires, that come back,
Until
Okay, okay. I'm straight.
you straighten out.
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I ain't even, you make it straight.
Well, I'm glad you're straight. All right, we'll move on down to the next item, committee report. Are there any committees that would like to report at this time? Any committees that would like to report? All right, just very briefly, revenue committee meeting, is scheduled for Monday. I can't remember the time, Mrs. Ellison, by any chance. 4 o'clock, thank you. 4 o'clock Monday, we still will have our revenue committee scheduled. And what we will also do, is make a request of the mayor's office, to ask that our tax collector be present at the revenue committee. The tax collector, has, some information that needs to be shared with the revenue committee. So we will, formulate the correct email, and send that, to, the mayor, making that request that, our tax collector be present for that meeting. Right?
maybe a request in that same memo, whatever reports that he might have.
I don't want to get into all of that because we tried to get a procedure set up with other stuff. I just know that he's on the agenda already, and I just want to make sure we got that. I didn't want to open Pandora's box with other stuff quite yet. And I see you, Mr. Brooks.
Review board for revenue 5.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
What day it is?
It's on,
Monday the 13th.
Monday.
Monday, 13th.
Hey, we may have to, let me ask this question. Is our elevator working yet?
No, I think we probably about 3 weeks out at least.
So you don't think it'll be ready for Monday yet?
No,
All right. Due to the fact that the elevator is not working, we're gonna need to reschedule the some meeting review board. Because we want people that are on that committee to be able to get to the chambers. And so there may be some issues with that. So we'll reschedule the Summers Legal Review Board, but we'll go ahead with the Revenue Committee meeting that is scheduled for this Monday at 4 o'clock. And Mr. Brooks is one of the speakers, 5 o'clock. And Mr. Brooks is one of the scheduled speakers on the Revenue Committee. I did not violate my rule that I don't recognize individuals from the gallery, but Mr. Brooks is actually on the agenda for that. So that's still, I still maintain my rule when someone from the gallery, they're not acknowledged by me, but I don't want to open up that Pandora's box as well. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I need another sent to the public building. I would like to go to all of the city park facilities. I would like to look at them, come back to the body of the council, see where we at with either repairs or what status we at. How long it's gonna take for the Rice Academy building to get back open.
Let me say this, if you remember when we first started tonight on the business items,
Oh, okay.
I said that that was one of those things when we have the clerk present.
Okay.
I want all of these questions, and I think Council Carmichael, you brought some stuff in about, can we ask for the reports? Ask for those reports you're talking about then, so we can have some continuity. Because the thing about it, since we're gonna go the route of placing things in writing, it needs to be placed on the official record, which are the minutes. So let's be consistent in what we're doing.
Even
Go
when
ahead.
even when I'm requested to have a letter drafted up to the attorney general office, I can place that too tonight. And why I'm asking for it to be addressed to the attorney general.
Now, you can request it. I don't know if it's going to be honored, but you have the right to request it. If that's what you
Well,
requested.
if I don't get it, what reason, who can we, if a city attorney can't refuse the next thing by the attorney general for that I want to see to get the right opinion.
Well, we'll have to
I
see
know
what
that's
happens
okay.
on that.
Yes, sir.
But you can make a request, and if it's not honored, then we'll have to do something else.
Are you talking about an attorney general's opinion?
Yes, sir.
An attorney general's opinion?
Yes, I need to get I will address it to, this needs to go definitely to the attorney general to get this opinion on.
And Councilwoman Christie Thomas correctly stated that when we do attorney general's opinions request, it requires a vote of the council. And so if that under new and unfinished business, that can be brought up at that time. And if it receives the affirmative majority vote, then the attorney will be directed to do that. So, anything else?
Well, this is one more, and I think this will follow. If I don't get this, it's gonna follow. Okay. I think. I dropped it off. I bring it up to the tonight, so she put it to the record.
I just didn't know what you were dropping off. What did you say?
Your secretary did give it to you.
She gave me something addressed to the mayor.
No, I left something from the check.
I'll check.
Thank you.
All right, any other committees report at this time? Yes, sir.
Comment, to Ms. Jane, and to the body of the council. So depending on what you're requesting from the AG's office, if it's a letter making a request to the AG's office, or if it's an actual AG's opinion, like an official opinion, are you requesting an assistance or something? Or are you requesting an AG's opinion on specific?
I'm asking AG to assist me. Question that it needs to come from them with an issue that I need to read.
An official AG's opinion? Okay. So there is a form online that you can get. It's gonna have facts that the council will have to agree to if you want to start working.
No problem.
And then we can all, we'll agree to the facts with that application.
Okay. Any other committees to report at this time? Any other committees? Hearing no other business of the Selma City Council, this work session stands adjourned. That's the way it comes. So we change. That's why I said. This was, forget we did that. I mean, that one thing about it, nobody. That was, we did that for give that. Say, okay. That's what I'm and so I want to work if she can. I told that's why. I think it's just like every 2 years, if we can put that, this is a little bit.
Okay, we'll be outside. Because maybe she understands
Yeah, that's what we have been.
She can just say, but you can get another spot. You can just say, I move to reappoint. Process for how long is it? So I'm saying, that goes or somebody there say, I move to appoint Joe Smith, Attorney Joe Smith. Whatever vote is taken, whatever majority vote is taken by the council, overrides whatever previously been.
But there's no.
See what I'm saying?
Right now, see, we have a friend over there that gardens, that's why we're talking about, we were letting him use it. To do this.
Cause you can.
In exchange for him keeping up with the crop.
But, I'm taking a thing on a tractor, how will they keep it from being stolen or
I
something?
think they keep it over this.
Well, then you have to do.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, for me, I think it's fair.
I mean,
I think
cancer's going, it's
because
doing great. It's all.
everybody,
You know, we're just doing great.
Not a stress lifted on that one.
Yeah.
You know, for me, for the I think it's fair.
Feel
to
free.
have
I was gonna say, Mama had a little spot, she got that off the other day.
Oh, really?
And
Good.
we got that cleaned up, we have Dr. Fawn down in,
What you mean?
Baptist out there east.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, right. Always. Good to see you.
Good seeing you,
I'll
sir.
see you Monday at the revenue.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, is it 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
I may or may not be late.
Well, it's a boss. I say, I'm really prefer to say nothing particular, but I know I know. Crazy. But I think. You told me, it's your turn, at that time, we don't operate with one job. When was the turn? So it's well, only reason I thought we had because I didn't, that's another thing, you know, when the terms wrong. I don't want to be in the situation that you got both of them at the same time. You know, keep coming with the somebody, what I'm trying to say, whoever's in this position 2 years ago, this council. Take application. I know. Or this council can say, because council can take applications. You got to be thinking now. You talking about, you got to be rethinking. But you the reason, remember I told you that you had been thinking that maybe the process was be more clear if we stay in the process. 2 years, council may take applications, and we might not put in the process, or just reapply. That to me, in my sense of fair, I think that provides some clarity. And that's going forward. Is it, you know, innocent judge, or even for the sake of the prosecutor, the defense attorney, because the defense attorney follows the same procedures every 2 years there. So I think to clarify those processes, I think it might be wise to put it there, something about reappointment or take application. That's the agenda. I don't think about that some more later on tonight, but sitting up here thinking right now, that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. Now, on this issue, I think that the council now, everybody's aware, the church hurt. Everybody was a fundraiser. They thought that maybe, you know, God was coming to do, but you still have some time. I think most people do. So now it's up. The way, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. If I need to check it, and I had not done it one time. I had done it one time. Now, honestly, I may have to start doing it, just to make sure the motions are read to the record, or correct the way they are intended to. But even on some of those controversial issues we had, I have not heard the chair to make a motion.
Because man, you know, I'm over there now, I'm almost there, because I have to go to court.
You have to do the line.
And I have to do the, calling for the court, I get paid and everything. How does this, I'm over there doing all this, I don't know everything. You know, trying to incorporate things, then I go get the act.
You look and I see what you're saying. You're looking at it from you, because this never takes you, like, you're the one that's always doing the work.
From that aspect, but then the addendum, I think,
Which was thought I would say we talked about
so
that.
that's part of all this.
I think the process. I think that I think for the, see, when I forgot there, a lot of things, there wasn't enough consistency. I'm having to create concept on something. And I don't know thing, nobody did it. And so when you bring it, when I get that, and we should that like, that's something that developed, and I don't know. So that makes me think that might clarify the process. We could just say, or the council has the option to reappoint.
And so I was thinking like, so if it presided to. Right, I can bring it to the people.
Which is what's like this. Because what I would like,
But you don't invite that.
I was, oh God, yes. What I would like to see, Brad, maybe not every council meeting, but maybe, this is me, I'm one person, so it's a whole other people count. But for me, I would like to see, at least once every 2 months, a report. This is how many cases we got. This is how many, this is how many cases we got. And additionally, like, me and Brandon will talk about that. Mr. Brooks, what you got, sir?
I apologize.
I saw you over there.
Judge, I apologize.
No problem.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I just know, you know, everybody, every move I make is critiqued.
Yes,
So, but it's fine, it's fine.
okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Brooks.
sir.
I appreciate it.
One time, I know that it's late.
I know that. Cause see, I look there and I say this with the, listen. That's actually a revenue generator. And if we properly staff municipal court, the people that can do the job. It's like they get the audit, we had all the money.
Wow,
That's jacked up.
right, y'all don't want the money.
That's all it's all.